Sunday to finish off week 8. Crazy blowouts. Huge performances. Dreadful shooting. Oh yeah, it's a standard day in the NBA, Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and mi nombre es Josh Lloyd. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit. Visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We're free. We're available on all platforms. We are part of the number one sports podcast network, the Locked On Podcast Network, that is. Every day is double bangers. We're all here. Thumb it up, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. All right, we've got 8 games on Sunday to talk about. Let's cover off a little bit of news to get things started. Just a few little things that you need to be aware of heading into Monday and to next week. We had a couple of big names just randomly, seemingly pop up on the injury report. And when I tell you who the first one is, you'll say that's not that random, Josh, because Anthony Davis is questionable with a calf contusion. Of course, he missed all that time with a calf strain, and now that same calf is contused. I'm going to be a little skeptical on that somehow. I don't really know what happened. I didn't see anything extra happen to Davis or hear anything. It just popped up. So, of course, we have no idea now. Because also, Dan Gafford, injury management ankle legend, is still questionable too. So you're going to get another legacy Dwight Powell game? You're going to get Musa Cisse back into the fold? Well, if Davis and Gafford are both out, then yeah, you are. D'Angelo Russell also still out for Dallas. And then this one, even more out of nowhere, Jim Harden. Where did that come from, Jimmy? Calf issue that apparently he sustained in their game against the Rockets during the week. Okay. So Harden is questionable. Now, if Harden is out, actually, literally, what do they do? Chris Dunn will be their starting point guard. So you'd be considering streaming him in at least, or trying it out. Car wash enthusiast Bogdan Bogdanovic would have to play more minutes. And then you're going to get like Cam Christie, Colonel Kobe Sanders, I guess, Jordan Miller. There's no point guards on this roster, man. There is nobody. So who it's going to be, I just don't know. I don't know. We had the Kristaps Porzingis update. I talked about it on the daily preview show earlier today. He's out at least 2 weeks. I feel really bad for him at the moment. It's obviously debilitating. We'll talk about the Hawks later on, and we know what's happening here. I think in certain cases you can consider dropping Porzingis. I won't. I'll be stubborn because I know the per game upside. But I'm wondering, 2 weeks, is that enough? I feel like it's going to be longer. I feel like it might be like February. I just don't know. Brandon Clark has been upgraded to doubtful. He hasn't played all season after knee surgery. I think he had a second surgery, maybe. Definitely had a setback. I know there's people who are already asking, hey, do we add him? Like, if you're in a points league, no, he's not a good points league player. He's also coming off a significant absence. He is going to be behind Jaren Jackson. He is going to be behind Santi Aldama. He'll be battling alongside Jock Landale for those backup minutes. He probably plays 18 minutes a night. In category leagues, he used to be, if he got 22, like a very strong guy. He hasn't been that player for a few years now. Tore the Achilles and then had the knee injury. He's not, much like John Isaac, he's not that same permanent beast that he used to be. So I'm not worried about Brandon Clark in deep leagues that are 130, 150, probably even 170 deep. That's like a 12-teamer with IL slots. I'm not worried about that, him in those sort of formats. Go a little bit deeper, maybe, but it's still a long way to get back into relevance. And then we talked about this on the waiver wire show today about people dropping Kyle Filipowski, and I was like, I think you probably want to hold him, although the scenarios where you get games that the Jazz are close and they're winning, then you won't see much Filipowski. But you got the opportunity when Nurkic is out, or when Markin is out, or when it's a blowout, for him to play big minutes. And wouldn't you know it, Yusuf Nurkic is resting on Monday. No real reason, just resting. Just taking a snooze, just napping it off. So yeah, just go and add Kyle Filipowski, and there will be bad ones. But I would be holding on to him at this point, just given the nature of, again, that one there, that little Nurkic resting Monday, should give you the idea that Jazz are going, have we been too good? Have we played a little bit too well here? I don't know if it's the beginning of the end, but it's something. It's something to pay attention to, and it should at least allow you to just hold on to Filipowski just a little bit longer. Let's go into the games. First one, early one, Wizards, Pacers. This is a very strange day in the NBA. Many of them are, in terms of upset-wise. Not that either of these teams are good, but the Wizards cooked them. 108-89 on the road. There was no Alex Sarr still. I don't know if he's going to play this week. I'm not really sure. They said he hasn't progressed as well as they would like. It was really disappointing to know. I would have liked an earlier sort of timeline on this, but I guess they thought it wasn't as bad and then it just hasn't healed. No Bilal Coulibaly, obviously. No Chris Middleton. No Corey Kispert. So that meant that we got a lot of Justin Champagnie. Passion Pop played 33 minutes. He had 13 and 14 with 2 steals and a block. I think for now, you can just roster him. Yeah, it will hurt when Sarr, Coulibaly, Middleton, and Kispert come back. But there's going to be guys, especially like Kispert and Middleton and then McCollum, who just aren't going to be playing all season. And you're getting the value out of Champagnie right now. Much like you're getting it with Marvin Bagley some of the time. 32 minutes here for Bags, 23, 14, steal, block. Horrific free throws, 5 of 10. Great field goals. For the for the majority of times with Sarr out, Bagley has been the guy. There's been some dreadful games in there, but it's mainly been Bagley. And Vukcevic has had better games sometimes, but again, if you just went with Bagley and stuck with him, it would have worked out in your favor. So while we just don't know, you can continue to use Bagley, but his value disappears when Sarr returns. CJ played 34 minutes. He had 18 and 6. Pretty good game for him. Well, we talked about Bub on the earlier show today on the Waiver Wire show and said he'd been playing a lot of minutes. Well, he did that again. But unsurprisingly, that elite shooting did not last. 11 points on 36%. He had 5 assists. He had 2 threes. He had a steal. So the line wasn't a complete waste from Carrington. And while the minutes are there, we can be, I guess, somewhat interested in streaming. I talked about Will Riley and his long-term value. He had 12 points. He played 23 minutes. The 23 minutes is what you want to focus on. And Trey Johnson had 14 in 16 minutes. I would like Trey to play a little bit more. I think he probably needs over 25 minutes to be a standard 12-team league guy. We're not there yet. Rough shooting from Keyshawn and George. Do not do anything dumb. Don't drop him. He almost had the Ray Felton, 9, 8, and 9 with a steal and a block and shot 27% with bad free throws. He has clearly dropped from the start of the year, and he's one of those guys. Basically, his teammate was the same last season, Bilal, where he started the season about 85% from the rim, and everyone thought huge breakout coming. Now, Keyshawn is, I think, a better player than Bilal, and I think that Keyshawn's value is going to stay high, right? But when he was coming in and shooting like 70% on mid-ranges and 85% at the rim, that stuff was never going to be able to stick, and we're seeing that, and it's regressing hard in the opposite direction. It'll level out somewhere, and his ball handling rep and his on-ball time is important for Keyshawn, and I think that's going to hold. But that overall upside value that we saw to begin the season is not happening, which is fine, because that was at an unbelievably high level. Let's talk Pacers. James Huff played 25 minutes, which is fine, but it is a little annoying. I'll tell you why, because we'd seen him get 27-28, and Isaiah Jackson pushed out at 20 minutes. Not that Huff was bad, 13 and 4, 3 threes, 4 blocks. Lovely. He's a blocks and threes guy. But the fact that those minutes came closer makes you, just in the back of your head, your brain should go, oh, is Carlisle going to do it again? Is he really about to do it? Are we going to see another switch over? I don't think so, but it just reminds you that there is a possibility of it. Isaiah Jackson had a pretty good game, 11 and 12 with 2 blocks. We're not adding him outside of deep leagues, 200 plus, or 200 deep leagues. But he's a good stream guy, as you see him mentioned on my streaming show all the time. Well, Andy Nembhard, just an absolute stinker. 7 points on 21%. That's bad. He had 6 assists. He just couldn't get anything to fall. I think Nembhard is going to sit around the spot that I thought he would, which is outside the top 100. He was going overreach for, I thought, in drafts. He doesn't have the full efficiency bundle that you needed to push him to where he was being drafted in a lot of spots. Ben Mathurin also just continues to have some struggles. Not a bad game, but 15 and 4 with 2 assists, no defense, 33% is not good. The 8 of 8 from the line is. Another thing we got happening here is another subpar, in terms of minutes, game from TJ McConnell. TJ had put up in the last game really good numbers in under 20 minutes. And I thought, okay, that's interesting, but I probably want 23 from him to really feel good about it. He had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists in only 15 minutes. If he's a 15-minute a night player, that's just not 12-team worthy for TJ McConnell. Like, it's so hard to get those numbers in those limited minutes. We've got 7 more games to go, including an absolute cracker with the Bulls and the Pelicans. Oh yeah, can't wait for that one. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by Wayfair. The holidays always show up faster than you expect. And if you're still putting together gifts, last-minute decor, or getting your home ready for guests, Wayfair has you covered. You might need a quick room refresh. You might need new bedding. You might need the final seasonal touches. Wayfair makes it easy for you to get what you need fast. Wayfair truly is a one-stop shop for everything home with decor, furniture, kitchen essentials, and gifts for every style and every budget, all delivered quickly and easily. The selection's huge. You've got so much decor stuff there, bedding, kitchen gear, updates for your kids' rooms. You can find whatever you want in one place, and it's so easy to shop by style. You can pick the pieces that actually fit your home instead of just guessing. The Wayfair items you order will instantly refresh your space without a big project. It's the best way to get your home holiday ready without running around to different stores. So get last-minute hosting essentials, gifts for all of your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That is wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. NFL Sundays move fast. One play, it's a big play, but then everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, and every highlight moment. Live betting is the best. You see things happen in the game. You just got to be ahead of it. You go, I can see something sort of developing here. FanDuel's going to go in and update live spreads and money lines instantly. Their player props will update as well, but you just keep an eye on someone getting hot, the defense changing their schemes, runs happening, and then you can get in there and you can make those adjustments with the live bets. You can also bet things like next touchdown scorer, drive results, totals, and more. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, go to FanDuel.com and you can go and check out all their NBA stuff as well, including odds for the NBA Finals where the Thunder are minus 105 favorites. That loss to the Spurs actually dropped their odds a little bit. Well, not dropped them, it pushed them out a little bit, made them not as big a favorites. They're still huge favorites. You can check the NBA Cup final as well, where the Knicks are 2.5-point favorites over the San Antonio Spurs for the game on Tuesday. So, check out all of the action on FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you, but don't forget to gamble responsibly. Now we can get into the next game, an overtime game where the Hornets pull out a huge one over the Cavs, 119-111. There was no LaMelo Ball. There was no Colin Sexton. There's still no Pat Connaughton. There was no Trey Mann. So instead of starting the only point guard on their roster, KJ Simpson, they went with Sion James in the starting lineup. James ended up playing 37 minutes in the overtime game. He hit 3 threes. He had 7 rebounds. We're not looking at him at anything outside of very, very, very deep formats. What we got was huge performances from Brandon Miller, the big Areola Concanipo, and even Myles Bridges. Miller had an early trip to the locker room, but came back, played 39 minutes. He had 25, 13, and 6 with 5 threes. That is huge volume. And he didn't even shoot well. He doesn't shoot well, like ever. But 35% from the field is horrific. He took 23 shots, but it's percolating here. It is percolating. He won't be a 38% shooter, I don't think. But we are seeing a lot of stuff move his way. The big Areola in 44 minutes had 29, 4, and 3. Big volume, elite efficiency. After that bit of a dip, he's back on track. I still want to see him do this consistently when Ball and Miller are playing, but when is that going to happen? And then Bridges had 20 and 10 with 6 assists. Big games across the board. I guess the question is going to be here, what do you do if you're a big Culk head? For all of the Culk fans out there, the big Culk, Ryan Kalkbrenner, played 29 minutes. He had his 3 blocks. He shot 75% from the field. But he played 29 minutes. He had 7 and 3. That's not good enough. Now, his minutes last game were strong. Well, Diabate sort of floundered and dropped way off. But in this one, Diabate played 22. 5 and 6, 2 steals and a block. And when you sit there and you see, well, he can go from 31 to 21, Kalkbrenner, and Diabate can go from 14 to 22, it makes him really hard to feel like you can trust the roles. I think I still, in category leagues, would persist with Kalkbrenner. In points leagues, you don't have to. If you're in a 170 deep points league and anything shallower, you don't hold on to Ryan Kalkbrenner. He's not good enough in that format. He's not even a top 150 player per game in Yahoo points leagues this season.
Get that garbage out of here!
Diabate, on the other hand, like just streaming, but not anything that you need to do in sort of standard and 12-team formats. Not much else to go on this one. Tijan Salam was questionable heading in. He played 14 minutes. Interestingly, they sent Liam McNeely back down to the G League because Salam had been playing well, sort of switched those guys around. If we go across to the Cavs side of the game, And what we did have was an interesting development here because Evan Mobley's out. We know that for multiple weeks. And I thought that what would happen is that you just see relatively similar stuff. Fewer minutes, obviously, but Jarrett Allen would replace Evan Mobley. And he did. But then they also benched Jalen Tyson and had Dean Wade move into the starting lineup. Now, I saw people suggesting that Dean Wade would be a good pickup with Evan Mobley out, and I disagreed. I said I don't know why that would be the case. Like, literally, we will just get Allen switching in for Mobley, and Wade's not that good of a fantasy player. Well, for today, I was wrong. 32 minutes, 14 and 8 with 3 threes and a steal for Dean Wade. That's a huge game. But I will say this. Whenever these things sort of happen like this, and I look at it, my logic was Allen will replace Mobley. Like, check, that happened. I didn't expect Wade over Tyson, and Tyson ended up playing 35 minutes anyway and having 16 and 13 with 2 threes. So we're not that worried about Jalen Tyson there. But also, I'm not expecting games to be the case where Dean Wade is like closing games over Jarrett Allen at center. I don't think that's going to be a realistic thing. Maybe it is, but that minutes distribution of 32 to Dean Wade, 32 to Lonzo Ball, 22 to Allen, or 23 to Allen, doesn't seem like it'll be something that happens all the time. Now, obviously, if you've got Jarrett Allen, you should be very worried. Now, I have Jarrett Allen in no leagues whatsoever because I had him in ranked at 95 or 100 and something because I just didn't believe in him this season at all. So far, that has been pretty well founded. I would, at this point, find it very hard to drop Jarrett Allen, and I don't suggest that you do that. But we can get there pretty quickly. I can easily see it happening. Garland was great, 26, 2 and 9. That was awesome after some struggles from him. While Don Mitchell, not at his best, 25% on 24 attempts is horrific. 17, 2 and 7, 2 steals there. DeAndre Hunter continues to be bad. Thought maybe there'd be a security in his floor value, but bro, 4 points, 27 minutes.
Get that garbage out of here!
It's been percolating for a while here that Hunter's not a hold, and yeah, that was bad. As for Lonzo, 8, 5 and 4 with 5 steals is an elite game. But again, like with Dean Wade, I think he's more of a 24 to 25 minute guy than a 32 minute guy. And this was just a very sort of strange game in terms of rotation patterns and the way that they, again, playing Dean Wade over Jarrett Allen, just not something that I thought would happen. But more importantly, I think, and you can debate this, you can disagree or not, I just don't think that's a realistic pathway for them as they move forward. Maybe it will be. I don't think it will be. But if it does remain that way, then you should be incredibly worried about what Jarrett Allen is doing. Now let's go to the Philadelphia 76ers and the Atlanta Hawks. Another crazy close game here. The Hawks win 120 to 117, the final score. What is really important here to judge, we'll talk about all this with the Sixers, right? But remember, no Tyrese Maxey, also no Kelly Oubre. But importantly, Paul George looked like Paul George. Not last season's Paul George, like All-NBA Paul George, which is what the Sixers thought they were getting when they signed him. 35 and 4, 7 threes, 3 assists, 1 block, 52% shooting, 100% from the line, 33 minutes. That is just Paul George. Now again, there is no Tyrese Maxey. So when Maxey plays, does George go back to being a third offensive option and the numbers drag way down? But Paul George is putting up unbelievably good numbers, even in his limited role so far. And I know you'll say, is he actually that? Yeah, he is. Just take a look at his numbers. And I actually think there's more that can come. The Maxey thing will be interesting. We also got Joel Embiid having 22 and 14 with 2 blocks. He was horribly inefficient, and he, George, and VJ Edgecombe all took over 20 shots in a pretty unbalanced sort of setup in terms of shot distribution. But Embiid is looking better. And what is encouraging, they said that he probably wouldn't play on only 1 day's rest, and he did. I hope that doesn't create any problems and he misses a game. They got a bad schedule. They only got 2 games this week, and it's a back-to-back, so he's only playing once. And Paul George probably as well. But encouraging stuff. Same with VJ. The Dominatrix played 39 minutes. He had 26 and 6 with 4 threes and 2 assists. Now, I'll tell you, very obviously, I was concerned about what they were doing with his minutes. His production had fallen way off, and they were splitting his minutes right down the guts, him and Jared McCain. And I was very skeptical. Wrongly. But I was very skeptical. Like, why? This surely isn't a minutes restriction. You missed 2 games and you're keeping him on a 24 minutes restriction for 10 days. What is going on? And then you've seen the minutes just go straight back up. McCain looks terrible. And VJ is very clearly above McCain. You don't be rostering Jared McCain in 120, 130, 175 deep leagues, maybe not even 200 deep leagues. He is really quite bad at the moment.
Get that garbage out of here.
0 points in 18 minutes, while VJ looks much more solid. Quentin Grimes, I don't know. 14, 2, and 7 is fine. He's replacing Tyrese Maxey in the starting lineup. He had 2 steals. He shot horribly. He's been very good this season. I do think there will be a point where maybe we get to dropping him. Probably not, but maybe we do. And I guess the question you got to ask yourself now is, what do you do with Andre Drummond? Now, you're not going to be disappointed with this from Drummo. The big avocado played 20 minutes. He had 5 and 10 with a steal and 3 blocks. He just didn't shoot well. In fact, he shot horribly. Do you keep him for one start this week and one backup game? Maybe you get 50 minutes out of him. It's debatable, isn't it? You're only missing 2 games of action, Monday, Wednesday, until he plays on Thursday. I think I probably would hold him, but it is getting to the stage where maybe we just need to cast that aside. We're maybe getting there. I'm probably still holding for now and taking a few L's in the short term just to see how Embiid's knee reacts. For this, the Atlanta Hawks, still no Trey, still no Porzingis. Porzingis is out basically until 2026 at this point. Anyecka Okongwu, just another monster. 20 and 15, 5 threes, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He is going to turn into one of the steals of draft day, largely because people were fading him too much, but also because Porzingis is out. Which I guess you could have expected, but you also couldn't have expected this. There was no way for you to think that Porzingis' illness, which allegedly had been taken under control and he played all through Eurobasket, to expect that he would just miss all. Like he hasn't actually been injured this season. It's just all been illness stuff. So Okongwu was incorrectly priced in drafts, but he's going to still smash through those numbers because Porzingis is going to be out way longer. Dyson Daniels was great. This is a great sell high time. Trey is coming back soonish. Daniels put up 27 and 10 with 4 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. It's a monster game. I know you could say, well, maybe now he's found his confidence. He'll keep shooting when Trey's there. It becomes an impossibility to keep that sort of a role when Trey Young is there. It just won't happen. For as much as his confidence may have improved or whatever it is, it just won't happen because he just won't have the opportunities to touch the ball like this. Bad shooting nights from the 2 guys who'd really been carrying the Hawks. Jalen Johnson, he did have a triple-double, but 29% shooting, 12, 10, and 12. Well, Nickeil Alexander-Walker was questionable heading in. Hurt himself on basically the first play of the game. Played through it, played 34 minutes, but had 12 points on 18%. He did have 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. Just watch for another injury tag for him the next time the Hawks play. While Le Crayon, Zachary Ricochet,
Le Crayon,
he was okay. 15 points, 3 threes, 2 steals, don't care. Still played only 21 minutes. It's not enough. He is a 200 deep league player guy. That's it. Even though 15 and 3 threes and 2 steals is good, who cares? The minutes are too low. He doesn't do it consistently enough. You don't need to be too concerned about what he does. Well, Vic Krejci is an excellent 3-point streamer. Another 4 triples to go with 19 points. You don't roster him in 12s or anything like that. But his numbers at the moment are good. Just throw him in with a bucket of Sams. Maybe Vit is check for Sam. Sam Merrill, Sam Hauser, Duncan Sam Robinson. Just one of those guys we can get 3 to 4 threes out of him. Basically anytime he's out there. Theoretically. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the Bucks and whatever the hell happened there against the Brooklyn Nets. Before I do that though, if you're a Bucks fan, maybe you don't even need to hear me read this out because we're going to talk to you about Rugiet. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. I've heard them all before. Oh, it's stress. I'm tired. Giannis is injured. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little bit of extra support. And that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting doctor-prescribed treatments for ED, designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. It's easy to do. You just connect online with a board-certified doctor. It's 100% online. There's no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. And if you get prescribed Rugiet or prescribed medication from Rugiet, your treatment ships to you discreetly right to your door. The process is fast, it's simple, and it's private. It's all handled by real doctors. You can go to Rugiet, which is rugiet.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. That is rugiet.com/LockedOnNBA. And don't forget to use the code LockedOnNBA so that they know that we sent you. Rugiet. Stop making excuses and start making moves. We've got a new club, the Everyday Club. $5 a month. Ad-free podcasts. Locked On merch. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. The Everyday Club. The link to that is in the description on the audio and on the video side. It's up on the screen as well. The Everyday Club. It's $5 a month for ad-free podcasts. Jump in and check that out as well. We are here doing the daily recap of Sunday's action across the NBA. We are 3 games in. And now we can talk about whatever it was that happened between the Bucks and the Nets, as the Nets blow them out by 45 points. 127-82. Remember when Glenn Rivers was approached by the Bucks as a consultant to help them in finding their head coach after they decided that Adrian Griffin, what a lol of a hire that was, wasn't the right option? And Doc said, I happen to know a guy. It's me. And then we've had this nonsense ever since. Yeah, Glenn, well done, man. Really appreciate that. Remember when he blamed the equipment guys? That was sick. Good guy, good coach. This is embarrassing stuff. I'm going to be honest with you with Myles Turner. I don't know what's going on. I've got no idea. Because I've seen Myles Turner play for years and years and years. He's not this bad. He played only 24 minutes. He had 9 and 3, no defensive stats. At least he was 5 or 6 from the line. So many players changing teams this season have been bad. Turner, one of the main ones. I don't really understand what's going on here. Part of it has to be just like, there's a mental thing. There's a locker room thing. There's something going on. Because this is just like unfathomably bad. I will still hold Myles Turner. If I am in a points league that is 150 deep, I would consider dropping them. In a category league, I will hold, but I just don't get it. I don't want to throw away 8 years of production for Turner just off the back of 20 games and think, well, he's done now. He looks done, but I don't think he is. I get that it's tough, though. Ryan Rollins, look, let's blanket all of this stuff. Terrible game. They got smashed by 45 points by the Brooklyn Nets. So there's going to be weirdness all over the place. So Rollins, 22 minutes, 11, 2, and 5. Fine, just hold him. Bobby Portis played only 16 minutes. And why is that important? Because last game he shot 90% and played 26 minutes. And this is what I told you when my thoughts are on Bobby Portis. I don't think he's a must roster because it took him shooting like 90% from the field to get to even 26 minutes. And he's not a starter, even though Giannis is out. 10 and 3 is not bad for 16 minutes, but it's 16 minutes. Kyle Kuzma, on the other hand, played 28 minutes. Was he good? Well, not particularly, but 13, 7, and 3. I would prefer Kuzma over Portis. I just value that extra stability of the minutes. Jericho Sims, for some reason, played 30 minutes. Again, I don't... Glenn Rivers has just now got it in his head that Jericho Sims is the guy that he has to play and has to like, but what is Sims actually doing that's leading to wins? Like, nothing? I don't get it. I don't know what he's really like, what the focus is here. And then we finally got a game where Kevin Porter's production fell, which it was always going to happen. But what is good about this is in a game where Porter scored 5 points on 15%, objectively horrible, he still had 7 assists. He still got a bunch of steals. I think he had 5 at one point, but I think they pulled it back down to 4. He was terrible here. This is the Kevin Porter that we've seen play for years and years and years. And his numbers were always going to come down. He had never improved to that level. But he still got stuff done. So this is not a reversion back to the old Kevin Porter. It's a bad game. And it was always set to happen. There was going to be a regression without any question at all. But you're not that... Well, I don't think you're that worried about it, honestly. Well, you shouldn't be anyway. Gaz Trent had 20 with 4 threes. If you're streaming for threes, Gazza does it. And that's really what he does. Doesn't do much else, but that's what he does. Let's talk about the Nets. It's a weird one because obviously they were great. And obviously they smashed them. But did anyone really stand out? Like, not really. Michael Porter had 12, 6, and 5. 2 ad reads, 1 podcast. Nick Claxton had 10, 3, and 3 in his 26 minutes. Cool. Day'Ron Sharpe played 17. He had 10, 8, and 5 with 4 steals, which is a cracking game. That's a huge line. But 16 minutes of Day'Ron Sharpe, like as a streamer, maybe, but he's more of a 170 to 200 deep league player. Danny Wolf, he got his minutes, 24 of them, just couldn't hit a shot. 12 shot attempts, 25%. He still had 8, 4, and 2 with a steal, and I think that he is someone to roster for now and just sort of see where it's going because there's enough baseline value that it's good, and then we'll see where it goes later on. Noah Clowney, rough first half, but 16 and 3, 4 threes, 2 blocks, bloody brilliant. And Yegor Yeoman had 17 in 26 minutes. He's very up and down, Yeoman, but he did have 2 steals, he had a block, he had 3 assists, he shot 75% to get here, but of course, he's going to have a stinker in the next couple of games. But it's a good bounce back after Jordi Fernandez said, yeah, bro's not really doing what we want him to do. He might have to see his minutes cut down. And he responded really well. He is a starting point guard, and that they're useful. I just think with Jolman, it's going to be probably like all-star break around that time before you get consistently close to top 100 because he's not there yet. We had Drake Powell, who was out of the rotation of the day, played 23 minutes. Just look how many guys scored in double digits on this team. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 guys in double digits and Danny Wolf on 8 points who would have been double digits had he not shot 25%. They just spread the load. Giggity. Like right across the whole team. So I don't know that there's much of a, you don't rush to add Yegor Yolman. You can have Danny Wolf, even though he's one of the worst performers of the day for this team. You still hold Clowney. But they just cooked him, man. Like, just an unbelievable smashing. I want to warn you guys all to strap in now because we're really heading clown franchise territory for the next couple of games. So there's going to be some stuff yet. Now, if you're a hater or you're a faker, I hope you're still here for this one because where are you? Are you still here to talk about this putrid franchise as they lose to the Timberwolves without Anthony Edwards, 117-103? I'm talking, of course, about the Sacramento Kings. Zach LaVine returned from a one-game absence, only to leave at halftime after spraining his ankle. Sick. What a season has been. 10-1-1 for LaVine. You have to hold him, but he's been yuck, and he seems disinterested. I wonder why that would be, because he plays for the Kings. That meant that Nick Clifford got the start in the second half, and he backed up his brilliant performance from the last game by having almost a Tony Snell. He had 1 steal in 13 minutes. Sick. Keegan Murray, though, was good, at least in 2 areas. 6 blocks is crazy. Like, that's not what you expect Keegan Murray to be doing at that sort of level, though. My box score says 6, the ESPN one says 5. These things adjust all the time. There's always different... This NBA stats is so frustrating like this. Different data providers have things that adjust at different times, so I apologize when those things don't match up. So we had 5 or 6. Still a big bloody number. But then he had 10 points on 27% shooting. I'm getting to the stage with Keegan Murray where I'm like, maybe he's just not a good shooter. Because he shot well as a rookie and then hasn't at all since then. Maybe he's just not good at it. You know, I'm not going to complain about 8 rebounds with 5 or 6 blocks. That's elite. But I think maybe he just isn't a good shooter. And, you know, we're always wondering what's going on with him and usage. It was better, 19%, but still not elite. Dennis Schroeder returned. He played 25 minutes off the bench. He had 17 points. He hit 3 threes. Good for him. Malik Monk also got 27 minutes. 16, 3 and 3 with 3 threes. So yeah, like if you can figure out Monk's role, good on you. Go for it. Because 2 games ago, LaVine was playing, Schroeder was out, and this bloke played 9 minutes. LaVine plays 15 here, Schroeder plays 25, and Monk plays 27. Again, good luck. Figure it out. I got no idea how you could possibly do it. Because I don't know how you can figure it out. Ken Ellis got DMP'd. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Westbrook had 8 points on 31%. The fact that you can make an argument that Westbrook at times is this team's best player is insane. But also the fact that when Westbrook plays, he just hurts every other player on the team is also crazy that he's playing these minutes. It is so annoying to me. For points league, yeah, you're obviously still rostering Russ and you're still probably doing it in category league, although I do not think it'll end that way. And then DeRozan had 17 and 4. He had a triple one. The minutes are just all like he played 21 minutes the last game. He played 39 here. Good luck trying to figure any of this stuff out. Because the guy that's running the minutes doesn't know how to figure it out. Maxime Reynaud has been starting at center. We got no Sabonis, and we had news that old mate Drew Eubanks has got a fracture in his thumb. He's out for a while. So, of course, Reynaud plays only 26 minutes. He had 8 and 6. He had a block. Didn't hit a 3. That's not a great game. His previous 4 games were all really good. So, if I've got Reynaud, while Eubanks and Sabonis are out, I am holding him. Precious Achiuwa got hot in this game, and that is why Doug Christie decided, yep, better do that, because if he didn't miss the last shot, it means he'll never miss again. And to Christie's credit, Achiuwa didn't miss at all. 100% shooting, 17 and 6. He did nothing else. But, you know, why wouldn't you want to get a scrap heap guy like Precious Achiuwa those minutes? Him and Russ leading you to the promised land of the 13th seed. Anyway, I am holding Reynaud. I'm holding Monk. I'm not rostering Schroeder. And I'm just continually crying about how bad this team is. We should look at the other side of this game, and that's the Minnesota Timberwolves, because not only did they not have Anthony Edwards, but then in something you don't really see happen very often, Rudy Gobert left the game in the third quarter, will not return, personal reasons. That is worrying. That makes you think that something bad has happened, and I hope that is not the case, and I'm sure we'll get some information about this at some point. It could be something good, like maybe his missus was going into labor, I don't know. But it's not a normal thing. So I have no idea what it means as we move forward. But Gobert played only 20 minutes here. He had 7 and 12. Naz Reid, of course, is going to do a lot more when Gobert is out. 20 and 11, 4 threes. After an incredibly slow start from Naz, he's been absolutely dominating. And that's without anyone being injured. What a huge run this has been. Well, the big Ragu, 34 minutes for DiVincenzo. There was no Conley or Edwards, of course. But 18, 6 and 6, 4 steals, 2 blocks, bad shooting. Beach remains a must-roster player. Randall had 24 and 9. And the big stiffy, the 5-minute man, 36 minutes for Bones. Now, he started the last game with Edwards out and played like 7 minutes and got hurt. He had 18, 3 and 5 here, Bones. And if it remains the case that Edwards and Conley are out, and we just don't know whether it will, Bones remains a good streamer in that spot. Not much else going on here. We saw Shannon played 28 minutes last game because Bones got hurt, but he was down to 13 here, while Jaden McDaniels had 21 and 4. He didn't shoot well, but his volume is up, which is good that he's able to do that in these sort of games. Now we turn to what the update is on Edwards, and we try and figure out, or we don't try to figure out, we try and wait for somebody to tell us what the status of Gobert is and where he is as we move forward. Now we move on to a game where I've got to be very careful because there's players in this game that people think that for some reason I have a personal vendetta against and I'm completely unfair and biased against them. It's the Pelicans. It's the Bulls. Let's start with the Pelicans, who get the big win over this clown franchise, 114-104. They trotted out the same starting lineup, which is interesting because Zion Williamson was back. But he came off the bench. We might as well just start with Zion. He played 27 off the bench, 18 and 6. That's mediocre. But at least he's back and somehow playing 27 minutes immediately. A few things to look at here. Jeremiah Fears was great. 28 minutes, 20 points. Shot the ball well from the field and from the line. Now, his peripherals in terms of rebounds and assists are low, but he got good steals. We're still holding him while Jordan Poole is back. That could be adjusted at any point. And Poole had 16, 2 and 4. Good numbers from both those guys. You probably want him in 12s. The Blizzard. Yas Queen. With Zion back, Derek Queen's minutes went down to 25. Does that mean that he'll play 25 every game? Nope. It just means that he got benched in this game. He started for the second half, played like 7 minutes, never returned. They went on a run with other guys, including Carlo Makovic, who played the entirety of the fourth quarter. So in essence, Queen was benched for Makovic. So when I talk about concerns with Queen, it's not that I'm a hater. It's not that you only say it because you didn't get to pick him up. I did pick him up. I say it because it's the reality. There are going to be games where Queen has real significant defensive problems and fit issues that cause him to be benched. As a general rule, Derek Queen is a must-roster player. We're not dropping him. We're not doing anything with that. He shows flashes of stuff. 4, 8, and 6 is not good, but 8 rebounds and 6 assists is very good. But there are going to be games like this because he still struggles a lot defensively. And if you think that's me being unfair about him, well, I don't know what more to say. But again, proof in the pudding, he was benched for Carlo Makovic in this game. Yves Missi played 11 minutes. I think the book is written there. 20 minutes for Herb Jones is a little interesting. He had that one big game when he returned, then got ejected, then struggled, and then struggled again. 10, 2, and 1. So, again, there was a thought that, maybe the injury was what was holding him back to begin the season. Maybe he's figured out how to play again, or maybe not. A lot of Poole and Fears together means that we're not going to get as much from Herb. Jose Alvarado being useful means we're not going to get as much from Herb. It's hard to feel excited about rostering Herb Jones. If I'm in a points league that's 175 deep, I don't think I would bother.
Get that garbage out of here.
If I'm in a category league that's 12-teamer, it's very borderline to me. I'm not sure that the upside is there to justify holding a rotation spot. The other one we wanted to watch, or a roster spot, the other one we wanted to watch was the depressed penis, Sadiq Bey. 10 and 6, 2 steals, 33% shooting, but only 25 minutes. Now, I'll tell you this now. If he plays only 25 minutes a night, absolutely not going to be a 12-team league guy. And Zion returning is if you wanted to, you go, geez, I need to drop someone to activate off IL. I need to drop someone to stream somebody in. If you drop Bey, I think you'll be all right. Now, there'll be opportunities for him later on when Zion gets hurt again, and Bey will do more. That will happen. But part of the reason that Bey was thriving was Herb was out, and then Zion was out, and they were both out together. And Poole was out, and they're all back now. So, 24 minutes for Bey is not going to be enough. You don't have to drop him now. You can wait and see what happens. But again, if you're in that desperation, I need to do something, that's not going to be enough. And I'm pretty sure he's not going to remain as a starter over Zion. Or maybe he is. I don't know. Are they trying to separate the Queen-Williamson minutes? They could be. I'm not sure. But it does allow me now to transition over to another distinctly disgusting franchise, the Chicago Bulls. They lose at home. Remember when they were 6-1? Still no Dosunmu available for them, but basically everyone else healthy. So we got to see some roles take shape. Kobe White played only 28 minutes. William Donovan, you'd probably want to just get a little bit more out of Kobe than that, I would say. 20 and 5 assists and 2 steals. I'm sure he's on some sort of minutes restriction. Trey Jones played 24 minutes. He had 5 assists. He had 2 steals. He had 2 blocks. That's great. I am not relying upon 2 blocks from Trey Jones. He is a nice 14-team league guy, not a must in 12s. The same goes for Founder Pants, Kevin Huerter, who returned and played 24 minutes. 16 and 4, 4 threes, 3 steals. Good numbers. But not reliable enough for him to be a 12-team league guy. And they were all able to get those extra minutes because, once again, William Donovan decided that Matas Buzelis would be the scapegoat to his ire. 24 minutes, 9 and 6. I don't particularly think Buzelis was playing that poorly. I'm not going to tell you he was playing well, but he shot well. It is getting frustrating, though. I thought that there was going to be a lot of focus on Buzelis this season, and absolutely there is not. I thought that we would get a solidified role with a hope that they could sort of develop him into at least number 3 offensive option, and that has not happened at all. And so far, that assessment of that's been very much wrong. I am holding him, but it's heading into a frustrating zone at the moment. In saying that, he's a top 65 player over the last 2 weeks, so maybe not worry too much. Josh Giddey had early foul trouble. That limited him. But of course, early foul trouble means 3 fouls in the first half, and guess how many he finished with? Yeah, you got it. You actually bang on. 3. So once again, a coach does his best to preserve the players' minutes by keeping the minutes lower than what they would have been had he just played through it anyway. Good work, coaches. You're all really good. 11, 7, and 5 for Giddey. That brings us to talk about your GOAT, Nikola Vucevic. I feel a little bit sorry for Vuce, sort of. Obviously, he re-signed with this clown franchise because they paid him way too much money. But he clearly doesn't want to be there. He clearly knows that the team is frustrating, full of a bunch of kids who don't really take it seriously enough for him. And he's not really trying. 12, 8, and 4 on 31%. He did hit 2 threes, Vuce. That makes him now 142nd over the last 2 weeks. Puts him outside the top 70 for the season. Do I think he can be better than this? Yeah. And as I've always said about Vuce, I know that it's easy to joke around, and some people do and some people don't. They take it very seriously. But when I say, hey, I don't want to take Vuce in round 2 or 3 or 4, I'll happily get him in the 60s. That's not saying that he's the worst player in the NBA or that I hate him and he's dreadful. That's saying this is what I objectively think his value is. And it's like literally exactly what his value is right now. But he is struggling. And I think he can be better than this. But also, he does not care about this team, it seems. He just needs to get out of here. The problem there is that what team is he going to be a starting center? I don't know. We're not dropping Vuce. You'd be shocked to know he's not on any of my rosters. Although I wouldn't have had any issue drafting him in the 60s. No problem at all. He's not on my rosters, but they've got other options here where Zach Collins, who, again, a lot of people rushed to grab him because he put up good numbers last game. He had 2 points in 12 minutes. Jalen Smith had 6 points with 2 blocks in 12 minutes, and they're just eating each other's asses now. I want somebody to establish himself, or they're just going to play consistently together at 22 minutes. If they play 20 minutes plus Collins and Smith, then we're rostering them. But 12 apiece is nowhere near enough. So again, if you rush to grab Zach Collins, maybe you're doing it to stash to wait for Vuce to be gone or whatever. But people have been waiting for that for 3 years. So I don't think the long and the short of it is, I don't think you need to be holding on to Zach Collins or Jalen Smith. It's got to be stashable type stuff to get to that spot. I'm sure anyone who had to be subjected to watching this game had many different feelings. Unbelievable, pandemonium, comeback antics, insane, just decision-making that I would go, do you have a brain? At all. I don't know what was going on in this game. Lakers, Suns. In the end, the Lakers somehow win. 116, 114. That included a 24-0 run from the Lakers in the third quarter. It included Dylan Brooks hitting a go-ahead 3 in the final minute of the game and getting ejected on the same play. It included LeBron deciding that he was going to take the technical free throw after the Brooks' second tech Of course, he missed it, and they get the ball back, and then there's a foul on a 3-point attempt from LeBron at the end, and he hit, what is going on in this entire game? Why is LeBron taking technicals? Why is the ref deciding he wants to put his nose in there to eject Dillon Brooks? Why is Brooks doing anything that could get you even close to ejected after you hit the game, potentially game-winning shot? Just stupidity from so many angles. Why is Marcus Smart, with 30 seconds left on the clock, deciding to do a fast, not even a fast break, just like, all right, I'll just take it to the rack instead of wasting the clock down? Bro, what are you doing? That wasn't even the first mistake that Marcus Smart made in this game. Just decision making that you could not believe that it could happen that many times of insane decision making. Like, what was anybody doing in this game? Let alone, like, you can debate whether that's a foul on LeBron at the end and the Lakers get the favored whistle, whatever you want to do. There's not even the major problem with this game. It's a problem, but like, oh my God. Anyway, it was Marcus Smart that started in place of Austin Reeves. And a lot of people chased that value from last game, and Smart had 8 points. He did, though, have 6 assists. He had 1 steal. He had 2 blocks. And if he's going to play 32 minutes, then it's okay to stream him in. Understand you are going to get whatever happened from him today and bad shooting, but the overall numbers should be okay enough to stream in. Gabe Vincent only played 19 minutes. He had 5 points. We should probably do an Impitsu check-in. 3 points for Rui Hachimura in 31 minutes. He did have 7 rebounds. He shot horribly. And why would anybody bother with having him in outside of single game streaming? You wouldn't. The big snowman, DeAndre Ayton had 20 points. He had 13 rebounds. He shot 91% from the field. And somehow, this is how much of a revenge game it was for Ayton. He even blocked a shot. Now, he didn't feel enough revenge to hit a free throw, but he did take 2 of them, so it's progress. Luka had 29, 3, and 6, while LeBron had 26, 3, and 4. He had 2 steals and 2 blocks, but a horrific 64% from the line on 14 attempts it hurts. Luka was very good, and LaRavia stepped up a little bit, as did Jackson Hayes. For some reason, on Sundays, every time I do the streaming show on Sundays, I say, hey, if you want field goal percentage, look at Jackson Hayes. And something randomly always happens to make him perform way better than usual. 4 of 4 for 12 points for Hayes. Why? I don't know, but it happened. Jared Vanderbilt had 2 steals and a block. He sort of came out of nowhere, played some really good defense. I don't think we need to worry too much about that. What we can do, though, now is talk about the Phoenix side of this game, because we had Dillon Brooks was questionable heading in, so was Devin Booker, but they both played. And we wanted to see what that would mean for the rotation. Now, there is still no Jalen Green, so we're not fully whole. But the Suns did something they haven't done at all this season. They kept Colin Gillespie starting, meaning Devin Booker wasn't playing point guard. That meant that both Royce O'Neal and Ryan Dunn came off the bench. As for Gillespie, he played 1,000,000 minutes. 37 of them, in fact. He hit a key 3 late in the game, but overall his usage was basically not there. 10 points with 2 threes. He had 6 assists. He had a steal. If you're playing 37 minutes, though, clear must-roster player. Jalen Green will almost certainly bring him to the bench. There's almost no doubt about that. And this was a game where the Suns were playing Dillon Brooks as their power forward. So I'm not even sure that this lineup is sustainable. But it happened. And now we just see what happens as we move forward. Mark Williams had 20 and 6. He played 29 minutes. He had 3 blocks. He shot 90%. That's a really good game, quite obviously. And Grayson Allen, not at his overall best, but he had 3 steals and 7 assists. So you love that. You love the playing time there. Dillon Brooks had 18, but he played only 25 minutes. He did get ejected, but that was in the final minute of the game. There were some foul trouble issues for Brooks. We are, I guess, soft holding him, but I'm not certain that in every format it's a clear must. As good as that line is in those low minutes, it required 67% shooting and 4 threes to get us anything close to being good. I think if you wanted to drop Royce O'Neal, you can, although again, I don't know that this lineup is one they want to persist with Dillon Brooks playing power forward. But having everyone back apart from Jalen means there's a lot more back and forward. There's a lot more ability for Jordan Ott to adjust the lineups and create instability in certainty of, that's what a line, that's my new band, instability of certainty. In O'Neal's production and his playing time, while Ryan Dunn had a key block at the end, which led to that Dillon Brooks 3. Of course, they still lost the game. But we're clearly not rostering him or Geordie Goodwin any longer. And now we can do the final game of the night. Eventually, because, 1,000 timeouts and fouls just makes the end of a close game just so much more interesting. So I was just a bit delayed because I couldn't stop watching. The pageantry of a timeout, of a coach saying, do something good, and then of the player hitting a free throw, Just magical stuff. Just some of the best ways you can finish a game. I don't know. Oh, it's actually a viable strategy. It's a really good strategy. It's just the way it's played. You don't know. You never played. It's really, really, really good strategy. Yeah, it is good strategy. Because that's what the rules allow. And they shouldn't to make the game better. It's incredibly straightforward. Anyway, the Blazers win 136-131 over the Golden State Warriors. Draymond returned. Quentin Post stayed starting. Buddy Hield went to the bench. And then Moses Moody. The foreseeable future is back. Pat Spencer moved to the bench. You cannot, I tell you this again, you cannot trust a single Warriors guard outside of Steph. You can't. You don't know what's going to happen in any game. We'll talk about Steph because he was obviously ludicrous. 48 points with 12 threes and 3 steals. He shot 62%. Unbelievable stuff from Steph. He's a first-round player per game this season. Ridiculous. Draymond, he's been really good of late. 14, 8, and 7. 3 steals and a block after missing a couple of games. James Butler, 16, 7, and 4 with 3 steals. Did not shoot well, but the free throws are awesome. And then it's just a bunch of whatever. We had 33 minutes from Brandon Podziemski for some reason. Okay, that's sick. Can you do it more than once? 12, 7, and 6 with 3 threes. Moses Moody played 23 minutes as a starter. He had 12, 2, and 2, a steal and a block. Those numbers are okay. Pat Spencer had been absolutely cooking, so he played 7 minutes and had 2 points. Of course he did. Why wouldn't he? He is that MFer, isn't he, Steve? He is. So he plays 7 minutes. Seth Curry played no minutes. John Kuminga played no minutes. Will Richard, old Willie Dick, out of the rotation. The wave pool, D'Anthony Melton, went scoreless in 19 minutes. Let me tell you about who you can't roster. Are you ready for a machine gun jack? Podziemski.
Get that garbage out of here!
Moody.
Get that garbage out of here!
Hield.
Get that garbage out of here!
Melton.
Get that garbage out of here!
Spencer.
Get that garbage out of here!
Post.
Get that garbage out of here!
Anyone else I can chuck in there? That sounds like about enough. In standard leagues, you just can't be holding on to these guys. Even picking which one to stream, impossible. It's impossible. And that's okay. Steve can do whatever he wants with his rotation, but we just can't trust any of it. I'm not adding Podziemski. I'm not adding Moody. I'm not holding Post. I'm not adding Hield, who had 10 points. I'm not holding Melton. I'm not doing anything with... these are all guys that you leave on the waiver wire in 150 to 170 deep leagues. You don't do it. There's no rhyme nor reason. There's no stability. There's no long-term value. And we've said this all season. There's when there's 9 guys who can play one position, you've effectively got 0 guys who play that position enough. I just don't care. I'm not rostering them. I don't think you should. You can do what you want if you feel like that's in your best interests. I don't think it is, so I won't be doing it. Let's talk Blazers. Donnie Clingan returned. So we had the situation again where Clingan was out, so Rob Williams had an opportunity, and of course he got sick and never capitalized on it. Donnie played 22 minutes only, had 3 points. He did have 3 blocks, and he did have 10 rebounds. It is worth noting that Tiago Splitter seems to like limiting Clingan's minutes because Clingan is quite bad on offense. The rebounds and blocks are fine. I still don't believe that he's going to be a very good player long term. He's a very good defender, but there's so many things that create problems for me with Clingan in his overall game. 11 and 11 for Robbie Williams. That's a pretty good line from the Rock DJ, but he played 19 minutes. He had no blocks. To get that in 19 minutes is good, but you can't do anything more than stream him in. Denny had 26, 7, and 8. Jez Grant, just an unbelievable comeback season from Grant. I don't believe that he's doing this, but he is. 35 with 7 threes, while Shaden Sharp also starting, played 33 minutes, had 35, 3 and 4 with 4 steals. Probably his best game of the season. He is on an absolute red-hot run over the last couple. I guess you're asking the question, A, what do I do with Chris Murray? Nothing, you should never have touched him. But secondly, what do you do with Toumani Camara, who played only 25 minutes, he had 7 points. He did get 2 steals, but those minutes are pretty frustrating, especially when you see 27 minutes from Chris Murray and 28 minutes from Sidi Sissoko. Now, I'm not going to tell you that those guys were good because they weren't. I'm not even going to tell you that those guys are good because they're not. It is just frustrating to see this, but I will also chuck this out there. Foul trouble. So Camara would have played more than this. He picked up his 5th foul basically at the start of the 4th quarter, had a big gap in the middle. His 4th foul was very early on in the 3rd, and didn't play for the rest of the 3rd quarter. Yeah, I know it's been annoying. And if you're in a points league, the value of him is not high enough. You can move on. In a category league, I am still holding Camara, despite this not being a good game, because foul trouble is an issue, and he's still got the 2 steals. But again, I just believe that the role is secure. I believe the shooting will return to a normal level. And you can argue for the bottom 3 players on any roster that if you stream their spot, you'll get more value. And that is 100% true. Unless the guy's a stock standard, easy top 90 guy, streaming their roster spot is more valuable every time. But you can't stream 4 guys off your roster. You don't have enough moves each week. So have a look at someone that Kamara might currently be your worst guy, but will he be your worst guy as you move forward? If he is, then sure. Move on. Stream away. But if there's an argument that it's very easy to get better, I wouldn't drop him. And I'm not dropping him. But in points leagues, I am. I hope that little bit of confusion or lack of confusion or whatever helps you out somehow. I hope so. We should do some lines of the night, I guess, before we get out of here. I wonder if I had any random font changes. Let's take a look. The monstrous line of the night, it has to go to Steph Curry. 48 points with 12 threes. He had 3 steals as well. Just ridiculous stuff from Steph since returning from this injury. Like, ridiculous. The waiver wire, we're going to go to Brooklyn. We're going to go to Day'Ron Sharpe, who, in his limited minutes, just posted an insane game, which I don't think we need to react to, but 10-8 with 5 assists and 4 steals. Your young gun of the night, the best performance from a first or second year player. There's a few options here. In the end, we're going with the big Areola, Concaniple, 29, 4, and 3. And the dud of the night, also a lot of options here. It's not the one that you think it is. It's not Myles Turner. I know you wanted it to be. It's not Tamani Kamara. It is DeAndre Hunter, 4 points and 4 rebounds. And he could be jacked into the sun. And guys, that is a recap show. That is Sunday's recap show. I'm not going to show you the results of my matchups this week because my matchups are still going. We had 2-week matchups. So I'll do that next week. Thumb it up. Comments. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See you tomorrow.